Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to episode 7 of Playing with House Money on the Toilets to Titles Network. I am Ice at Iceman_1013 on Twitter. This is my co-host DJ Prue at PrueBaby10, the self-proclaimed live bet king. How are we doing today, fella?
I'm doing great. Blessed to be here. What's going on, my guy?
Not much, man. It's been an interesting week. Short week for me, obviously. Took a few days off last weekend for the celebratory reasons. And
yeah.
I was looking forward to hopefully having the more short weeks, the better.
Yeah, right. Hopefully this one's a little more eventful going into the weekend, and then not just finishing. So, yeah, it was MLB was brutal for everybody. I think the entire community that was betting on MLB last week just really felt a gear switch after they came back, man. It was a nightmare. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think it really just at the beginning of this week kind of, you saw guys finally get into a rhythm.
But I think what we did, I don't know if I guess that you kind of meant to do it. Like we just kind of went. We knew you knew that it was going to be that kind of first couple of days back. Let's not go too heavy. Didn't put too many plays out. So we didn't win much, but that's because we didn't really bet much.
Right. So, we had to be way more decisive last week. We couldn't. It was, and obviously we saw that it got justified. I mean, we were probably playing 3 or 4 plays a day, if that. I think I only played 1 play Sunday, and it missed by. It was a 3-leg, and it missed 2 legs, and there were 2 total bases. It was just a nightmare of a weekend you had a ton of guys that were just 0 for 4, 0 for 5. I mean, you had a ton of games that were under 3 runs, under 4 runs. There were maybe 3 or 4 games each day of the weekend that ended up going over like 8. After that, it was nothing. So, I mean, there was really not a ton of value unless you're an unders guy. Baseball's a little more difficult to do unders. I mean, you could have 1 at bat, literally screw your under. And then you could also have 1 at bat, not get the over you need. So it's just a weird sport. I don't like doing unders too much, but last weekend definitely would have been the time to do it. Luckily, I mean, we pulled a few really good value plays that ended up cashing. So, I mean, it really made up for the value we didn't get through the regular games that we expected.
Yeah, I mean, well, we'll put it up. We had a few winners.
Cool.
I mean, my ice treble kind of Paredes got voided. The game got called off on the Friday, so the round robin ended up just being Cody Bellinger and Ezekiel Duran singles. Bellinger hit at like plus 650. He was the highest odds of the 3. So that was something at least, at least on the Friday. Saturday wasn't terrible on MLS. I say wasn't terrible on MLS. We talked last week. I talked a bunch about all of the home teams, and then shared. I think it was 8 or 9 home money lines that I really liked. Told the guys to round robin by 5 and 6. Because the value on those home teams was like really good. And I think we went 6. We definitely went 6 out of those 9 money lines came in. And if you did round robin by 6, it was plus 5,200. And then 6 of the 9 that I talked about last weekend for 2+ goals came in as well. So again, like with the value that we were getting on a lot of those, close or above evens, the buy 5 and buy 6, I think buy 5 would have come in around plus 22, plus 2,300, and the buy 6, like I say, plus 52. So we missed the Atlanta by 1. Atlanta I was out all day Saturday as well, and like that, like I couldn't bet until right up to like 5 minutes before kickoff. Like the lines were closed for some reason, like they were locked on FanDuel. So I was throwing them in last minute, and I mean, Atlanta scored after 22 minutes and then didn't score again, and that would have given us 7 of the 9 2+. And they were the best bet of the day as well. So the fact that they put me in such a great position after 20 minutes, and then 70 minutes after that just couldn't get the second goal was just. But I think that had something to do with the weather. The weather on Saturday on the East Coast was kind of terrible. But I mean, the Discord had a good day on Sunday. We cashed my biggest bet of the month, probably. My boy Pemi from Bodo Glimt was basically an even money anytime goal scorer play. That cashed. And then one of the boys in the Discord posted some random young kid in Mexico in Liga MX for the rest of us, plus 900 anytime. We went out on a limb and took him first, and he cashed for us at plus 2,700. So that was that was a nice winner. That was nice for it to come from the we're following picks from the guys that we have in our Discord. It's not just on me and you to cash winners day in day out. So that was nice. And then we got another baseball winner on Tuesday. Nice. Finally cashed a K parlay, plus 1450. So that was good. Yeah, it was a nice kind of, wasn't too big, but there was kind of steady winners. Like we had something Friday, something Saturday, something Sunday. We weren't too heavy on Sunday or Monday, but then and it's same on Tuesday, and to get that plus 1400 on Tuesday night was just a nice kind of rounding off of the week. And again, like going into this weekend, hopefully, like we say, we've got another week's worth of, certainly from your perspective, a week's worth of games that have been played back under the belt. People back, which players have come back hot, which players have not, and I'm sure that you will talk us through that in a second.
Yes, sir.
But in the meantime, you can find all of our content, all of the titles content, mock drafts, player rankings. Prue has been all over the shop the last few days and the last week with the guys from Toilets to Titles doing interviews with some upcoming players, with people in the industry. You've done the Chicago Bears, the Cleveland Browns, right?
Yep. We have we're possibly doing Minnesota later this week. We want to knock out the whole NFC North sometime within the next week and a half, something like that, I'd assume. So we got a lot in store. Everybody should come check it out.
Yeah, so find that at toiletstotitles.com on the YouTube channel. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. Prue doesn't just talk about baseball. He knows, I guess, a little bit about football, right? If you're listening on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, drop us a review. And again, any of the team, if you want to discuss any of the sports betting side, any of the football side, Prue's done a couple of his. I've done a couple of shows. We did a show last night about redraft. Put some rankings out there for redraft season. Come and tell me why Davante Adams is not a top 10 wide receiver this year. And you can try and argue with me like Coach tried. You won't succeed. But, come and find us on the Gilded Chat. Join in. It's a good group of guys. And again, just reach out to Prue and we'll get you in there. But, football season coming up. But like we say, we're back right in the swing of things with the MLS. So why don't you tell us what we should be looking forward to this weekend?
Everybody, don't mind my British friend. He's excited for soccer. He meant the MLB. And I'll have to talk to Coach about that Davante Adams line. That's kind of crazy. He must have been a couple under at that time. But MLB this weekend, man, we got some fun stuff looking up, to look forward to, and there's a couple series that I don't want to fully avoid, but I'm not looking at as hard as I was before the All-Star break. So this week we got 4 that I'm really, really eyeing. First off, it's going to be the Giants against the Nationals. It seems like we're at that time of the year where like all of these teams have kind of dwindled down to like 4 guys you really want to bet on a daily basis. betting on guys every day kind of gets tough. You feel like you're taking guys too much, and then you take a guy one too many times and he screws you over, 2-3 times in a row. You don't want to take him again, and then he goes off that day that you don't. So it's just like you really want to pick your spots with these teams, and the Giants and the Nationals are two teams I've really figured out the guys that I'll bet on, and then the other guys I don't even see. I wouldn't really even be able to tell you the odds that they get most of the time. Granted, they do have every team in the MLB has like one of the one or two guys that you like the value that you get for them, but you just don't want to play them every day and stuff like that. But the Nationals and Giants, I'm down to like 2 or 3 guys on each team that I'm pretty much sticking with at all times. So I really like that matchup. Same thing goes for the Brewers and the Braves. The Braves are at a time where the value for the main 4 guys you want are a lot lower than they were, and it's a little more risk on some of the props, so you don't really feel too comfortable taking them and stretching it. So that, and then the Brewers, the Brewers have 4 guys that I even look at, and that being Christian Yelich, Owen Miller, Willie, and then or Contreras and Adames. And outside of those 4, I don't really look at many. I look at Weimer and Turang like once a week, something like that. But those are my 4 guys I look for, especially with matchups that I think we could see a lot of runs. That's definitely a matchup we could see, 2 out of those 3 games going the over pretty early on too. So I really like that one. An oddball one I like is the Colorado Rockies against the Miami Marlins. The Rockies have a couple pitchers that you love playing against. I mean, you see teams hang 10, 12 runs on them, and you almost feel bad. And Miami has one of those lineups where, when Jesus Sanchez, Luis Reyes, Brian De La Cruz, Jorge Soler, John Birdie, when everybody is on, I mean, they're hanging runs so fast, and it's all like singles. Like 5 singles in a row. They put up freaking 5 runs. They have 5 hits, 5 runs, and none of them are homers. It's insane. So I mean, that's another line, like another series that I really could, find some value in, especially because you'll get really good odds just for like 2 total bases or like over 1.5 hit run RBI. So I'll really be eyeing that one all weekend. And then the last one I'm looking at is kind of lopsided, especially right now after the All-Star game. It's the Astros and the A's. Oakland has looked like garbage the last couple weeks. I mean, and that's an understatement. That's almost a compliment. They've been horrible at the plate, man. I mean, they are horrible at the plate right now. And I mean, the guys that you used to even be able to bet on, like Rooker and Ruiz. Ruiz is hurt. Rooker, I can't. I mean, I played him earlier in the week. Didn't go well for me. He was the only red leg. They're just really bad at the plate right now, and the Houston Astros aren't. And I think I'd be happy with going with 4 or 5 guys on that team. Obviously not all in one play, but I really like the opportunity against that pitching matchup. I think Pena, Altuve, Bregman, but I'd like to pick my spots if I can find specific pitchers and stuff like that. And then Yanyo Diaz has been really, really good for them. So I really like the Houston Astros this week. Just for that reason. I mean, I wouldn't doubt we have 2 games where they just blow them out of the water. So, yeah, those are the 4 matchups I'm really high in all weekend. And I'm going to really pick my spots where I'm going to kind of mix and match. We're going to do a little bit of 2 total bases, a couple hit and run RBIs, and then I'm thinking of doing a home run lotto on those 4 games, one leg from all 4 and round robin in that. So I'll have everything finalized by the time game time really starts for the series, and I'll probably do one tonight, Saturday and Sunday for all 4, just to kind of keep everything fresh and keep everything dialed into the episode. And so anybody that's watching, if you guys do want to find those plays, I'll have everything on Twitter, I'll have everything on the Discord. Come find us. You can follow me on the Twitter, or you can follow us on the Playing with House Money Twitter, and I'll make sure everything is laid out for you when we're ready to game time.
Yeah, I mean, I've started to the 4 games. You normally preview 3 or 4 that you really like, and I've started to look at taking the overs in those 4 games.
That's happened. I probably should have been telling you guys to do that, because even when we mention the players that we want to make player props on for the games that I do highlight, a lot of the times that, when I highlight some of these games, dude, we've ended up hitting like over 10 runs by like the 6th inning. So like there's been like a few that myself, I've missed a lot of value on with those overs. Because I mean, if we can catch 8.5 runs and we think one of these teams can put up 6, 7, we probably should have been telling our listeners to run those overs. So yeah, maybe we'll I wouldn't mind looking at the lines for that game, for those 4 games, and doing the over, a four leg over.
Yeah, and that's what I've just started doing that. And the ones that are like when they're at an 8.5 or an 8 flat, I will always take the alt. You know me with my numbers, I always take the alt up to 10. Take the like alt 9.5s, take the alt 12.5 and RR that. Just because, again, we've seen a lot. We've seen a lot recently as well. Games just exploding. There's stupid earlier in the week, right? It was like 4 or 5 teams scored 10 runs on their own on Tuesday.
Yeah,
I think possibly. So yeah, like when
literally blowing the doors off of you.
Yeah, when you're looking at stuff like that, you're obviously looking at the whole series, but there's definitely some points in there where we can make some money on those overs, and dependent on the pitching matchups that we get on the given days, we definitely like some of those as well.
Yeah, for sure. I'll tell you which pitchers on the A's that we want to run the over 12.5 with the Astros for sure.
Yeah. Sounds good, man. If you want to show us some love and become part of the title tribe with Toilets to Titles, check out the Patreon, patreon.com/Toilets to Titles. It's $1.50 per month for base level entry. It gets you entry into Frankenstank Listener League. There's only a handful of spots left, starting to fill up. The rules went out this week to all of the newcomers. So DJ, you probably haven't even read it yet. We'll go over it at some point soon. But again, like there are higher tiers available. It gets you, entry into the Gilded channel where we've talked about. I saw that. All right. Gets you entry into the Gilded chat where you can talk to us about our bets. The guys have got their Friendly Fire show now, which is based on rivals. That's Justin and Nate at Toilets to Titles. I've been doing all right, to be perfectly honest. Like some of those challenges on there, like the rivals challenges, are actually pretty decent. You just, they're obviously growing. So it's just finding the challenges that are open and people have already bet money on, and then you just bet on the other side, basically straight head to head. Who's going to score more fantasy points in the games that are going on? So it's pretty interesting. But yeah, again, there's discussions about that, and then there's all of the football stuff ready, prepping for redraft season, which is coming very quickly. It's creeping up on us. So jump in and find out. And if you have any questions, then just hit up Prue on the Twitter or myself, like I said, or just comment on the YouTube, and we'll get you in there. This weekend, no MLS. MLS All-Star break. We can't really call it an All-Star break. They've played one game against Arsenal. We discussed this last weekend. But there's no actual MLS this weekend. The North American Leagues Cup is what is going on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And that's basically MLS teams, Liga MX teams, all in a kind of mini cup competition. So there's certainly some value. I found that I can bet that on DraftKings. But I'm looking at some odds now on FanDuel for those of you that can bet it on FanDuel.
That's a nice little slick shot. I like that. That's a nice little slick shot. I'll take that one. You get one.
That wasn't.
That was a shot. It was a shot. It was a shot. Tell the people what we're fucking betting on, and win me some damn money. Now you owe me one.
It was a stray. It was not intentional. But yeah, like basically, it's pretty plainly and simply. Most of the games where it's MLS team versus MLS team, certainly on Saturday, I'm taking both teams to score. The thing is, I don't really know. Like every team is kind of probably missing their best player because they were playing in the skills tournament and the MLS All-Star game. But I also don't know how serious some of these teams are going to take this tournament being in the middle of the season.
That was going to be my question. Are we looking at, is this going to be one of those weekends where it's weird we should look at unders more than overs, or are you going to try to just pick our spots?
I don't think the unders and overs is an issue, because I think you're missing some good attackers, but you're also missing some good defenders.
For sure.
And again, like the difference between the MLS, certainly in those games where it's MLS teams against Liga MX teams, kind of the difference in is a little bit. Case in point, first game up Friday night is Cruz Azul against Inter Miami. Now, I, as we all know, have been very heavy on just bet on whichever team is playing against Inter Miami.
But
that works until they play like the worst team in Liga MX, and then that doesn't really count.
And when do you expect Messi to make the debut?
I honestly think he's making his debut on Friday.
Exactly. I was going to tell you. It sounded like he was going to play.
So yeah, I think we have to jump on the bandwagon.
Oh yeah.
As much as I don't like it, he's plus 300 to score first. He's plus 550 to score twice. I honestly really like that one, and I'm gonna play the hat trick at plus 2,500. Just because I can't miss out if he does.
Yeah,
like it's 2,500.
Oh yeah, I'm throwing a nickel. I'm throwing a quarter on that. I need 25 on that one.
But yeah, I mean, Cruz Azul are probably one of the worst teams in Liga MX. So the fact that again, if it was any other team, I would have probably been on it. But the one other thing to look out for, like which is strange the way they've done it, because it's a cup competition. They like if you look on FanDuel or on DraftKings, the way it lines them up is it has Inter Miami as the away team. So we know that I have for weeks been banging on about home teams in the MLS.
Yeah, but it's Messi.
No. So all of the Mexican teams are coming up and playing in America. None of these games are taking place in Mexico. So Inter Miami are listed as the away team, but they are playing at home. So that's something to look out for when it is a Liga MX team playing against. If the Liga MX team is listed first, they are very likely still playing as the away team, though. So when it's the like if it's two MLS teams playing against one another, then it's the right way round. But so like Inter Miami are listed as the away team, but the game is in Fort Lauderdale, which is strange. I don't know why they have it.
So like that wouldn't. I wouldn't even consider home and away like a big deal at that point, unless you think
no. It's absolutely not. What I'm saying is normally I would not bet on the MLS teams away from home.
Right. But he's not. But they're not really. You're saying they're not even really away.
No, they're actually at home. So they're basically they're even money. I think Inter Miami on the money line plus 100 on DraftKings. They're minus 105 on FanDuel, and we have Austin FC playing at home to Mazatlan. They're minus 125. So they're the two I like on Friday. And then on Saturday, there's really only one game that really stands out as something that I want to go like on the money line, and that's Philadelphia Union against Club Tijuana. And if you take the two from Friday night and the one from Saturday, 3 money lines, it's plus 500. You could probably again run the same over 1.5 team totals for Miami, Austin, and Philadelphia. You're probably getting plus 400 on that, but I really like those. And on Saturday we have it's New York Red Bulls against New England Revolution. Love the both teams to score in that one. Real Salt Lake against Seattle. Love the both teams to score there. And then Portland Timbers against San Jose. So we have three 3 cup games, which are all MLS teams. So it's ultimately like an MLS slate mini version. But again, I like both teams to score in all 3 of those, but it really does depend on one, which players are out, and then how seriously these teams are taking it, and which guys are being rested, and if they're playing some of the youngsters, some of the reserves in this cup competition because they want to save their stars for the actual when the league games resume. So again, we're likely the problem with Messi is we're likely going to see him start. Possibly if he starts, like will he play the whole game? I don't know. Again, we're going to have to play a game of wait and see with how this goes, and really with some of these games. Like on Sunday, we have 3 games that are all MLS. Cincinnati at home to Kansas, Columbus at home to St. Louis, and Nashville at home to Colorado. I'm going to stick to my guns and go home teams. And the home teams there on those 3 games are the treble is plus 445, and I'm actually going to probably play all 6 of those home teams for plus 3,200.
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah, so that's Sunday. Again, it really depends. Like right now, the lines are based on if it was an MLS game. Like we say, it depends on the sides that these teams put out, but the first 2 games kick off at, the Cincinnati and Columbus games both kick off at 7:30 Eastern time. So at 7 p.m. we'll know the sides that they're putting out and be able to make a much better decision on where we want to go. But I really don't mind like both teams to score and win in those games because, again, like St. Louis away, I think they've got a goal in them. Yeah. Kansas away, I think they've got a goal in them. And Nashville, I might just leave because Nashville have screwed us over many times.
Yeah, I was going to say they've gotten us a few times.
So you could easily leave that one out. We have Puebla against Minnesota. Again, Minnesota listed as the away team. They're actually going to be playing at home, so you could substitute that in. So yeah, there's definitely it's certainly an interesting slate this weekend from the League's Cup perspective. Which again, we'll have more on the Twitter. We'll put more out in the Discord once we get to Friday and we get Friday night and we've got an understanding of what's going on, what teams they're putting out, how some of these teams are going to take it. We'll kind of have a much better understanding at that point. And then, what we'll talk about more next week is we have the Women's World Cup. Women's World Cup starts as well, and there's no real value in the first couple of games, in all honesty. In some of these games, you've got like New Zealand are the host nation. They're playing up first. They're plus 1,000 on the money line. They're playing Norway. Then you've got Australia minus 350 on the money line. I think Spain are playing Costa Rica minus 20,000 on the money line. USA women are playing Vietnam on Friday plus 20,000, minus 20,000 on the money line. No value in any of these games really, unless you're going on these teams to score 4 or 5 goals.
Right.
In these games, which against the teams they're playing, it's possible, but it's just I think I'll leave it for the first round of games until the bigger sides play against one another. When we get some good value on that, but there's definitely will be some stuff to come, and we'll talk more about the Women's World Cup once we're really involved. But that first game. First games have already been played. I think they were played yesterday. So we'll see, how that goes for the rest of the tournament.
Hell yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to say? One question. Have you watched any of that quarterback show on Netflix?
No.
It's not a big TV guy, are you?
No. Well, no. Not really, actually. If I watch TV, it's like a series that I've been waiting to watch. Like I got to season 2 of The Bear. I restarted The Blacklist. If you haven't seen The Blacklist,
I've seen The Blacklist.
Amazing show. No, I didn't watch quarterback just because it was it looks extremely. I heard it was pretty bad. So I heard that the Patrick Mahomes one was cool and stuff like that. I guess it's one of those things that, you know, if you let it tug at the emotions and whatnot, it's probably pretty good. But no, I saw the clips I wanted to see from it on Twitter, and that was it.
All right. Well, I started it. I'm 4 episodes through, but I'm a Patrick Mahomes fan, so you know I'm gonna like it.
Right.
And don't get like Kirk Cousins is. The more I watch it, the more I'm actually like, okay, like.
Yeah, that's propaganda though, bro. Is trash. That's propaganda, bro. Bear down, bear down, Kirk. We getting y'all twice this year. Don't even trip, dog. You can do all that walk on water shit and your Margaret Thatcher quotes. Ain't nothing saving you from Justin Fields, bro. You're good. It's all good.
All right. Well, thanks very much for watching, everybody. Thanks very much for listening. Shout out any questions you have for us, like we said, on the Twitter, at PW_housemoney, or as Prue said, like at PrueBaby10, at Iceman_1013. Good luck with all your bets this weekend, whether it's MLB, whether it's the World Cup, whether it's the Leagues Cup, whatever. Let us know what bets you're putting on. If you've got any futures on the Women's World Cup that is not England or America, like, come on, let's be real. It's going to be one of the two. Hopefully it's not each other in the final. I can't be doing with another one of those games.
That'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
But we will be back next Friday when we're playing with more house money. Like I say, have a good weekend. We'll see you then.